You're at the office at 7 a.m. You're still there at 7 p.m. You're the one taking notes during meetings. You're the one drafting the post-meeting summary. You're the one following up on the next steps. And you're the one finishing the tasks others left unfinished. While you're doing all this, there's that person sitting right across from you, right next to you, or somewhere in the same open plan office. They arrive at 9:30 a.m. and leave at 5 p.m. They disappear during lunch breaks and return much later. They don't speak up in meetings, but after the meeting ends, they're laughing and joking with the manager in the hallway. They either postpone assigned tasks, leave them unfinished, or don't even start them. And while this person should be fired, for some reason they're liked and protected. No warnings, no written reprimands, no consequences. Meanwhile, as you try to do everything right, you grow a little more exhausted each day, a little more withdrawn, and a little more disillusioned with the system. And most importantly, you're wasting your time. And you ask yourself, how is this possible? I'm doing everything. They're doing nothing. I'm here. They're nowhere to be found. I'm taking on the responsibility. They're running away. How is it that the outcome is the same for both of us? This isn't a coincidence, nor is it the result of poor management. It's a very clear game plan that lazy people use to survive in the workplace, whether they realize it or not. And as long as you don't see this game plan, working harder will only wear you out even more. Simply putting in more effort won't protect you. You need to understand the system. You need to see the rules of the game. I'm Stefan. Today, we're going to examine the 4 core cogs of this system one by one. Once you understand them, your perspective on your office, your team, and that person will change forever. Before we begin, I want to ask you something. Is there a name on your mind right now? A face? Is there someone you work with or share a space with? Someone who shifts the bulk of the work onto you or others? If so, this video is exactly for them. Or rather, to help you understand how to stand your ground against them. A few years ago, I worked on a team. There was a colleague on the team named Marcus. Marcus wasn't a bad person. He was cheerful and friendly. I had no personal issues with him. However, when it came to work, Marcus was practically non-existent. While we were being crushed under management's favorite lean staff model, some of us doing the work of 2 people, others of 3, Marcus sat at his desk reading sports news. Since he had his own responsibilities, we usually just nodded and went on our way. But when collaboration was needed, his true colors came out. Somehow, he always managed to dodge every task. When he did take on a task, which was rare, the chance of him actually completing it was 10%. The remaining 90% of the time, my other teammates and I were doing his work. And since our names were on the project too, we had no other choice. If the project failed, we'd be in trouble at the company as well. We had to deliver results. That's why every time we'd sit down and finish what Marcus left behind. Now let's turn to you. Do you do this too? Be honest with yourself. Did someone fail to do their job and did you fill in the gap? Did someone make a mistake and did you quietly fix it? Did someone show up to a meeting unprepared and did you fill in the gap? If your answer is yes, this video will take you to a much deeper place. Now let's move on to the first reason. Lazy people have spent their entire lives memorizing what really matters. But pay attention, not what should be important, but what is truly important right now, in this company, for this manager. How do you work? You probably want to do everything well. You try to make every metric, every presentation, every email, and every meeting note the best it can be. Because this is part of who you are. You have standards, and you don't want to fall below them. You fight to avoid it. That's a great quality. But this is where the deep difference between you and the lazy employee comes to light. The lazy worker knows exactly what the minimum performance threshold is, which tasks actually yield results and which don't, which deadlines are truly demanding and which are just a formality, which managers look at the output and which only care about appearances, which reports no one opens and which are zoomed in on and scrutinized on their screens. They've gathered this information not systematically, but intuitively. And they allocate their energy accordingly. 0 energy for things no one is actually tracking. Minimal energy for what's visible and produces results. You, on the other hand, spread your energy evenly across everything. And when you look back, you'll have accomplished a lot, but most of it goes unnoticed. Here's where something critical happens. You're filling in the gaps. You're doing the things Marcus didn't do, the things that needed to be done. This creates an invisible safety net for Marcus. Without this net, the results would just pile up on the manager's desk. As long as you're there, nothing reaches the manager's desk. The system runs like clockwork. And to the manager, everything looks fine. 2. It's much more frustrating because it's happening right in front of your eyes, but you don't notice it. Lazy people invest their energy not in the work itself, but in visibility. Research on career development reveals a deeply unsettling truth. Your actual job performance plays a far smaller role in determining whether you get promoted than you might think. Visibility, perception management, and building relationships are far more important, but they've instinctively grasped this reality. While you're keeping your head down and working, what is he doing? Having lunch with a senior director? Engaging in a long conversation with someone from the finance team in the hallway? Walking past the CEO's office with a smile? Having coffee breaks with people from other departments? And what do these people see when they meet Marcus? Someone energetic, social, visible, easy to talk to, and with a strong team spirit. What do they see when they meet you? Maybe you're not even visible, and now that project is coming up. You did 90% of it. You stayed late at night, you solved the problem, you prepared the presentation. What was Marcus's contribution? Maybe one page, maybe one slide, maybe just attending the final meeting. But who spoke at that meeting? Who articulated their contribution? Who explained the project to the leadership team? Marcus. Because you're modest, you say, that was just my job. You highlight the result, not yourself. And that's a great quality, but it's also a quality that makes you invisible. Marcus's greatest skill is this. He chooses those rare moments when he's truly working very well. When leadership is paying attention, when your boss is interested in that project, when top management's eyes are on that meeting, Marcus suddenly appears. He's focused, concentrated, and someone who highlights his contributions. When the spotlight fades, Marcus fades too. But the mark he leaves in those moments completes his legacy. Reason 3 is one of the most frustrating reasons. Lazy people take the credit and shift the blame. They've established a special system for this. The accountability shield. The manager knows exactly what to expect from you because you've never let him down. You're reliable. You've always kept your word. That's why whenever something critical needs to be done, the manager calls you. He doesn't call Marcus because then he'd have to deal with it, follow up on it, and would probably end up calling you anyway. Have you noticed? That's why you're getting more work. That's why expectations for you are high, and that's why Marcus's expectations are practically at rock bottom. They're so low that sometimes Marcus just shows up and exceeds them. This is where passive delegation comes into play. It's not a formal delegation of authority. The manager isn't telling you, do this. Your lazy coworker is simply not doing their job. You'll either have to do their work too or turn a blind eye to the project failing. But you can't let the project fail because your name's on it too. That's why you sit down and finish the job every time. Marcus knows this. He builds on it. If you create enough pressure, someone will step up. That person is always you. And here's the most painful part. What does management think when they notice this? Marcus knows how to delegate responsibility. Marcus understands how to use his team. Marcus demonstrates leadership potential. The behavior that's ruining you is the very thing that's making him stand out. 4. The reason is the piece that ties everything together. A lazy employee isn't a real problem for those who could fire him. Think from your manager's perspective. Is Marcus missing critical deadlines? No, because you're the one delivering. Is he causing major conflicts? No, because he doesn't do enough work to create conflict. Does he make mistakes? Very few, because he avoids taking on enough responsibility to make mistakes. Are there complaints within the team? Yes, but the work still gets done because you and the team are absorbing everything. What reaches the manager's desk? Solid metrics, completed projects, a calm atmosphere, and a visible, positive, drama-free Marcus. For the manager, the question is, why would I mess this up? What does letting Marcus go mean? Opening up a position, HR processes, interviews, a transition period, a new hire getting up to speed. And while all this is happening, you'll really be crushed under the weight of it because you'll be doing that work too. For the manager, keeping Marcus is the path of least resistance, and people, especially managers, often take the path of least resistance. But there's a deeper truth here. Many people who have risen to leadership positions were actually a version of Marcus. They built networks. They delegated. They managed perceptions. They showed up in the right place at the right time. And now, when they look at Marcus, they don't see a problem. They see an earlier version of themselves. This isn't a comfortable truth, but it explains why the system protects these people and why it doesn't hold them accountable. So, what are you going to do now? I need to make this clear. None of this is your fault. You're trustworthy because you stand by your values. You step in to fill the gaps because you care about your team. These qualities are valuable. But right now, you're operating within a system that's taking advantage of you. And to change that, two things need to change first. First, stop automatically taking on work that belongs to someone else. This means setting boundaries. Every time you step in when Marcus doesn't deliver, you're telling not him, but the system that this behavior has no consequences. Behavior without consequences continues. Stop your silent interventions. Let the consequences reach the manager's desk. Second, manage your own visibility. This isn't about letting go of humility. It means showing people the work you do. It means voicing your contribution. It means sharing not just the outcome, but the process when leadership pays attention. You're already working. Now, make yourself visible while you work. And most importantly, internalize this. You are that invisible safety net. Without you, this system wouldn't run this smoothly. And when you pull that net away, the system shakes. It needs to be shaken up. Once you see the rules of the game, you can't ignore them anymore. But after you see them, the choice is yours. You can either play by the same rules or play on your own terms. If you like this video and want to keep discussing these workplace dynamics from different angles, subscribe. I'll keep speaking the things no one else is saying out loud.